The notification came through while I was in a meeting about Q4 projections. Venmo. Ashley Chen requested $340. Groceries and stuff. I approved it without thinking, the same way I'd approved the $215 for her hair appointment last week, the $180 for new ring lights the week before, and the $500 monthly payment I made toward her credit card debt. My name is Marcus Webb. I'm 28, and I'm a senior software engineer at a fintech startup in Austin. I make good money, really good money, and for the past year and a half, I've been living with my girlfriend Ashley, a lifestyle and fashion influencer with 47,000 Instagram followers and approximately $0 in consistent income. Dude, you good? I looked up to find my best friend Carlos staring at me from across the conference table. We'd known each other since college, and he could always tell when something was off. Yeah, fine, just distracted. And Carlos gave me a look that said we'd be talking about this later. The talk happened that evening at our regular Thursday night basketball game. Carlos and I met up with Jamal, our other best friend from college, at the community center near my place. We'd been doing this every week for 6 years, and it was the one thing in my life that felt stable. So what's going on? Jamal asked as we warmed up. You've been off your game for weeks. It's nothing. It's Ashley, Carlos said. It wasn't a question. I sighed and took a shot that bounced off the rim. She needed money for groceries. Again, Jamal retrieved the ball. Didn't you just give her like $300 last week? That was for a content collaboration outfit. This was actually for groceries. Bro, Carlos shook his head. Do you even know how much you've given her this month? It's not giving her money. We live together. We share expenses. Do you, though? Jamal passed me the ball. Because from where I'm standing, you pay for literally everything, and she pays for nothing. She's building her brand. It takes time to monetize an audience. It's been a year and a half, Marcus. When does the monetization start? I didn't have an answer for that. Here's the thing about dating an influencer. Everything is content. Our anniversary dinner? Content. The weekend trip I paid for to Fredericksburg? Content. The thoughtful birthday gift I spent weeks planning? Content. But I wasn't allowed to appear in most of it. Ashley said her followers related to her single girl living her best life aesthetic, and having a boyfriend in the frame would hurt her engagement. So I was the ghost in our relationship, present but invisible, paying for experiences I couldn't be part of publicly. I didn't mind at first. I understood the business side of it. But lately it was starting to wear on me. I came home from the basketball game to find Ashley in our living room, well, my living room that I paid 100% of the rent for, doing a sponsored post for some wellness tea company. Her ring lights were set up, her phone was on a tripod, and she was in the middle of take 17 of the same 30-second video. Hey, babe, I said quietly, trying not to interrupt. She held up a finger, finished her take, then finally acknowledged me. Hi, did you get the groceries? What groceries? The ones I sent you the Venmo request for? I need them for tomorrow's meal prep content. Ashley, I was at basketball. You sent that request while I was at work. I thought you were going to pick them up. Her perfectly made-up face twisted in annoyance. Marcus, I was working all day. I had 3 brand calls, and I needed to edit last week's content. When was I supposed to go to the store? During one of the 4 hours you spent taking photos at the coffee shop? That was work. I was creating content. She started packing up her equipment. You know what? Forget it. I'll just order Instacart and add it to your card. Ashley dash. I can't deal with this right now. I have a collab call with a brand in 10 minutes, and I need to be in the right headspace. She disappeared into our bedroom, my bedroom that I'd moved her into rent-free, and closed the door. I stood in the kitchen of my apartment, surrounded by her ring lights and backdrops and prop groceries that never got eaten, and wondered when I'd become an ATM with a heartbeat. You need to have a conversation with her, Carlos said the next day over lunch. He texted asking to meet, and I knew it was an intervention. About what? About money, about expectations, about the fact that you're basically her sugar daddy without any of the benefits. It's not like that, isn't it? Jamal leaned forward. Marcus, we love you. You're our brother, and we've watched you get drained, financially and emotionally, For 18 months. When's the last time she did something for you? Something that wasn't filmed for content? I opened my mouth to respond and realized I couldn't think of anything. Exactly, Carlos said gently. Look, if you're happy, we'll shut up about it. But you don't seem happy, man. You seem exhausted. He was right. I was exhausted. Exhausted from working 50-hour weeks to support both of us. Exhausted from being erased from her online presence. Exhausted from feeling like a supporting character in my own life. What do I do? Talk to her, Jamal said. Set boundaries. Tell her she needs to contribute financially or at least acknowledge what you're doing for her. And if she doesn't? They exchanged a look. Then you know where you stand, Carlos said quietly. I tried to have the conversation that weekend. Ashley, we need to talk about money. She looked up from her phone where she was responding to comments. What about it? I've been thinking about our arrangement, and I don't think it's sustainable for me to cover all our expenses while you're building your brand. Her eyes narrowed. So you're saying I don't contribute? I'm saying you don't contribute financially, no. And I think we need to figure out a more equitable split. Marcus, I'm working every day. Do you know how hard it is to build an audience? To maintain engagement? To network with brands? I know it's work, but it's not currently generating income, and I can't keep covering everything by myself. She stood up, arms crossed. Wow, so that's what this is about. You're keeping score. You're tracking every dollar you spend on me. That's not... I thought you supported my dreams. I thought you believed in me. But apparently you're just like everyone else who doesn't understand what I do. Ashley, I'm not saying... I need some air. She grabbed her purse, the $400 designer one I'd bought her for Christmas, and headed for the door. I'm going to stay at Melissa's tonight. I can't be around this energy right now. She left. I stood in my apartment, feeling like somehow I'd become the villain in a situation where I was just trying to survive. Melissa Harper worked with me at the fintech startup. She was a product manager, sharp, funny, and perpetually single by choice because, in her words, most men can't handle a woman who makes more than them. I'd always liked Melissa in that distant, co-worker way. We'd grab coffee sometimes, commiserate about difficult launches, and trade terrible office gossip. But I'd never thought about her as anything more than that until the Monday after my fight with Ashley. You look like death, Melissa said, appearing at my desk with 2 coffees. Rough weekend. Want to talk about it? She sat down in my extra chair without waiting for an answer. It was one of the things I liked about Melissa. She was direct without being aggressive. So I told her. Everything. The money, the lack of acknowledgement, the fight, the way Ashley had made me feel guilty for asking for basic partnership. Melissa listened without interrupting, her expression growing increasingly incredulous. Let me get this straight, she said when I finished. You pay for everything, rent, utilities, food, her business expenses, and she contributes nothing financially. You support her career completely, but she won't even acknowledge you exist on her platform. And when you asked for a more equitable arrangement, she called you unsupportive and left? When you say it like that, it sounds bad. Marcus, it is bad. That's not a partnership. That's you being used. Now, hearing someone else say it made something click into place. I keep thinking if I just support her a little longer, things will get better. Her account will grow. The sponsorships will start rolling in. Or she'll keep taking advantage of someone who's too nice to set boundaries. Melissa's voice was gentle but firm. You deserve better than this. You deserve someone who appreciates what you bring to the table, not someone who treats you like a bank account with occasional bedroom privileges. My phone buzzed. Another Venmo request from Ashley, $275 for a content shoot outfit. I stared at it for a long moment, then declined it. Melissa saw my screen and smiled. Good first step. Ashley came home Tuesday night with shopping bags anyway. Did you mean to decline my Venmo request? She asked, unpacking her haul on the bed. I figured it was a mistake, so I just used your credit card instead. Something snapped. No, Ashley, it wasn't a mistake. I declined it on purpose. She froze. What? I'm not funding your lifestyle anymore. If you want new clothes, you need to pay for them yourself. Are you serious right now? She laughed, but there was an edge to it. Marcus, I needed those outfits for content, for my career. How am I supposed to grow my brand without investing in it? That's not my problem anymore. Your career is your responsibility, not mine. I can't believe this. She started pacing. I've been with you for a year and a half. I've supported you, been there for you. How? How have you supported me, Ashley? Give me one example. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. I, I'm your girlfriend. I'm here. You're here living rent-free in my apartment, eating food I pay for, using electricity I pay for, building a career I fund. But you're not here for me. You're here for you. Her face flushed red. Fine, fine. If that's how you feel, maybe I should just leave. Maybe you should. The words hung in the air between us. I'd never said anything like that to her before, and I could see the shock on her face. You don't mean that, she said, voice shaking. I do. I think we want different things. You want someone to fund your lifestyle while you chase Instagram fame. I want a partner, someone who contributes, someone who sees me as more than a paycheck. Marcus dash dash. You have until the end of the month to find somewhere else to live. That's 3 weeks. I'll continue to cover the bills until then, but after that, you're on your own. Ashley stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Then she grabbed her phone and her purse and stormed out. I sat down on the edge of the bed, surrounded by shopping bags full of clothes I'd inadvertently paid for, and felt the weight of 18 months lift off my shoulders. Holy shit, you actually did it, Carlos said when I called him. I'm proud of you, man. I feel terrible. You feel guilty because you're a good person, but you did the right thing. I could hear him moving around. Jamal and I are coming over. We're ordering pizza, and we're having a proper celebration of you finding your spine. They showed up 30 minutes later with beer and pizza and genuine excitement. To Marcus, Jamal raised his bottle, for finally realizing he deserves better than being a human ATM. We clinked bottles and spent the evening doing what we always did, talking shit, playing video games, and reminding each other why male friendship was important. These were the people who showed up for me without expecting anything in return. These were the people who actually cared. Around midnight, my phone buzzed with a text from Melissa. Heard through the office grapevine about the breakup. Want to grab lunch tomorrow? My treat. I smiled and typed back. Sounds good. Carlos looked over my shoulder. Melissa Harper? From work? We're friends. Uh-huh, he grinned. She's cute, and she has a real job. Too soon, man. I'm just saying, keep your options open. The next 3 weeks were complicated. Ashley stayed with friends but came by to pack her things in stages, each visit accompanied by attempts to manipulate me into changing my mind. I can change, she said during one visit. I'll get a job, a real job. You should do that for yourself, not for me. Don't you still love me? I love the person I thought you were, but I don't think that person actually exists. It was harsh, but it was true. Meanwhile, Melissa and I had been having lunch regularly. Then lunches turned into coffee breaks, which turned into one dinner after work, which turned into me realizing that what I felt wasn't just friendship. Melissa was everything Ashley wasn't. She was self-sufficient, ambitious in ways that didn't require someone else's funding, and genuinely interested in my life. She asked about my projects at work, remembered small details from previous conversations, and never once treated me like a wallet with legs. I need to be honest with you, I said one evening as we walked back to our cars after dinner. I'm developing feelings for you, real feelings, and I don't know if that's appropriate given that I just ended things with Ashley, or if you even feel the same way, but I needed you to know. Melissa stopped walking. Marcus, I know, terrible timing. I've had feelings for you for 6 months. Since that product launch where we worked until midnight and you ordered food for the whole team without being asked. Since you helped me debug that disaster of a feature without taking credit. Since basically forever. She smiled. I just didn't say anything because you were with Ashley, and I don't chase unavailable men. I'm available now. I know, but are you ready? Was I? I thought about the past 18 months with Ashley. The drain on my finances, my energy, my self-worth. And I thought about the past 3 weeks without her, the peace, the lightness, the feeling of being valued again. Yeah, I said, I'm ready. She kissed me then, right there in the parking lot, and it felt like the beginning of something real. Ashley moved out on a Saturday. Carlos and Jamal helped me make sure she got all her stuff, and then she was gone. I found out through social media that she'd posted a tearful video about toxic relationships and finally choosing myself. Her comments were full of support from followers who had no idea she'd been living rent-free while bleeding me dry. Her follower count actually went up. 2 weeks later, I heard she'd started dating some photographer who was apparently going to invest in her brand. I felt nothing about it except relief that it wasn't me anymore. Melissa officially became my girlfriend after a month of dating. We kept it quiet at work at first, but eventually people figured it out. Unlike Ashley, Melissa didn't hide me. She posted a photo of us at dinner. Nothing elaborate, just a genuine moment, with the caption, "Good food, better company." It got 37 likes. I couldn't have cared less about the number. I cared that she wasn't ashamed of me, that she saw me as an asset, not an expense. 3 months into our relationship, Melissa got a job offer from a competitor. Better title, better pay. She turned it down because she liked our company culture and didn't want to disrupt what we were building. That was a lot of money, I said when she told me. Money isn't everything. Happiness is worth more than a bigger paycheck. She kissed my cheek. Besides, I'm doing fine. We're doing fine. I don't need more. I need this. It was such a stark contrast to Ashley that I almost laughed. 6 months after the breakup, I ran into Ashley at a coffee shop downtown. She looked different, tired maybe, or just less filtered than her Instagram presence suggested. She was with someone, presumably the photographer, and they were arguing about money. She saw me, and her face went through several emotions at once. "Marcus," she said. "Hi." "Hey, Ashley, how are you?" "Good, great, really great." The words came out too fast. Building the brand, getting opportunities. You know how it is. "That's good to hear." Her photographer boyfriend checked his phone, annoyed. "Ash, we need to go. I have a shoot." "Right, yeah." She looked at me one more time. "Take care, Marcus." "You too." I watched them leave, bickering as they went, and felt nothing but gratitude that it wasn't me anymore. That night, Melissa came over to my place with groceries she'd paid for with her own money. We cooked dinner together, actually cooked, not staged for photos, and talked about our days like normal people in a normal relationship. "I heard you ran into Ashley," she said. Carlos had texted the group chat. "Yeah, it was fine. Weird, but fine." "Any regrets?" "None." I pulled her close. Best decision I ever made was ending that relationship. Second best was starting this one. "Second best?" She raised an eyebrow. "What's the first?" "Standing up for myself, learning that I deserve to be treated like a partner, not a paycheck." I kissed her forehead. "You helped me see that." "You helped yourself. I just pointed out what was already there." Later, as we sat on the couch watching a movie she'd picked because she actually asked what I wanted to watch, I thought about how different my life looked now. I had money in my savings again. I had energy for my friends, my hobbies, myself. I had a girlfriend who contributed equally to our relationship and never made me feel used. Most importantly, I had my self-respect back. Ashley posted another tearful video that week about financial struggles and how hard it was to be a content creator. Her comments were full of people suggesting she get a real job. Her engagement was dropping. The photographer had apparently moved on to someone with a bigger following. I didn't feel vindicated, I just felt sad for her. The way you feel sad for anyone who can't see their own value beyond a follower count. But that wasn't my problem anymore. I was too busy building something real with someone who understood that relationships weren't content. They were commitment. That love wasn't about what you could get from someone, but what you could build together. Carlos and Jamal came over for our weekly game night, and Melissa fit right in, trash talking with the best of them. "You know what I realize?" Jamal said during a break. "This is the first time in 2 years you've seemed actually happy." He was right, because I wasn't funding someone else's dreams anymore. I was living my own, and for the first time in a long time, that was enough.